And here is probably the most famous and priceless picture of the last century.
Picasso's La Rêve.
The only Vermeer in private hands.
A $30 million Vermeer. But in his Louvre-like Las Vegas office, Steve Wynn takes us into his inner sanctum for a look at an even more prized picture, a faded photograph of his father.
My dad was a bingo operator. Her name was Michael. And my dad had the ability of making everybody love him.
Mike Weinberg, who changed his name to Wynn to escape the sting of anti-Semitism, gave his son charisma, a love of art, and an interest in gambling. Unlike his father, nearly all of Steve Wynn's gambles have paid off. Especially his move to Las Vegas in 1967, leaving behind the family's East Coast bingo parlors after his father's death. Wynn got his start as slot manager and part owner of the Frontier. He then built a company with the goal of making people say, wow. Developing the Golden Nuggets in Las Vegas and Atlantic City, the Mirage, Treasure Island, and the Bellagio, transforming Las Vegas into America's top tourist destination.
Steve Wynn said, I think there is room for luxury travel in Las Vegas. I think there's room for something that hasn't been done. So he built the Mirage, which wasn't the biggest hotel in the world at the time, but it was the most expensive, and it did have stuff that other casinos didn't have.
Pressured to sell his company in 2000 to Las Vegas mogul Kirk Kerkorian because of a low stock price, Wynn began his comeback, opening his signature resort, the Wynn Las Vegas, in 2005.
Well, it's fun to be doing this again.
Constructed for a monumental $2.7 billion, the Wynn has 9 waterfalls, his own man-made mountain, the only golf course on the Las Vegas Strip, its own Ferrari showroom, the biggest suites in Vegas, the only 5-star and diamond-rated hotel in town. Wow. Unlike some Las Vegas casinos that are literal gambling caves, Steve Wynn's concept for the Wynn Resort is something totally different. It involves flooding the casinos and restaurants with light, also blending the inside and the outside spaces. And in a departure from the other hotels he created, where spectacular displays like pirate and water shows are visible from the Strip to entice customers in, here you only see Wynn's Mountain and the waterfalls from the inside. Wynn is legendarily demanding. When we visited, it was obvious that when he shouts,
"Do you have the calendar?"
people get moving.
People like to think of Steve Wynn, oh, the egomaniac, and he's raging at people, et cetera, et cetera. Steve Wynn can also be incredibly charming, incredibly ingratiating, and very almost mesmerizing to listen to at times.
But Wynn's bark may be worse than his bite. His 2 German shepherds have the run of his office. They're friendly to strangers. And recently, Wynn apologized to casino dealers for forcing them to share their tips with supervisors, appealing to them not to go union.
I did not understand that there was this sense of betrayal. I made a big mistake.
You never hear Steve Wynn sounding contrite. He refers to having made a mistake several different times in that tape. It's nothing short of extraordinary.
Despite the personal plea, Wynn dealers voted to organize.
How well do you see it?
Oh, in normal light, I see 20/40.
It is a bitter irony that the man with so much vision has difficulty literally seeing. Wynn has the degenerative eye disease retinitis pigmentosa. In the dark parts of the casino, he is virtually blind.
When you lose your vision, you lose your sense of things. But when you lose your hearing, you lose your sense of people. What's worse? I think the people part.
The quote is Beethoven. And like the composer who did some of his best work after he lost his hearing, Wynn says he may still be creating things that make people say wow after he is no longer able to see them himself. Wow. In Las Vegas, I'm Jeff Flock for CEO List.